What's up, guys? Welcome back to the channel. My name is Bedivere, and welcome to another episode of Zero to Hero. In today's episode, we're going to be diving back into our Factorio playthrough, and we are going to be making our MegaBase-scale steel production. As always, if you enjoy the content, be sure to smash that like button, click the subscribe button as well if you haven't already, and that little notification bell down there at the bottom keeps you up to date with all new content that comes to the channel. If you would do your steel production differently, or if you have any different tips or tricks or anything of that nature, be sure to leave your comment down in the comments down below, and I'll be sure to get back to you when I can. I stream every Thursday and Sunday afternoon over at twitch.tv/Bedivere. There you will find the vast majority of the inspiration for all the blueprints and builds that I do, so if you want to go ahead and follow along there as well, all the links to all my socials, including Twitch, Twitter, and Instagram, in the description down below. All right, so with that, let's get started. So we are on our way to where I want to put down our steel smelting. We're gonna need a lot of room for it. In the last episode, we ended up finishing up our green circuit build. So what we did was we had, our little lanes here. This is where all of the iron plate and copper plate are going to be coming in with a little stack. And then we have a nice, sleek, tileable design where we have a little bit of a slip lane here for our 5 trains, 3 copper trains and 2 iron plate trains. We're keeping that 2-to-3 ratio the entire time. So we have a little slip lane for this little chunk, and then we'll do another slip lane for another chunk. And each of these produces 8 full blue belts of green circuits, all using speed modules and everything like that. So right now we have 16 full green belts and of green circuits, and nowhere to put them. So that might be a topic for another episode shortly. We might have to replace the green circuits that are in here. I know in the past couple episodes we've replaced these smelting columns, but for now we're going to try to replace the steel. We're not using too much steel right now, and I know that I tried to take down this patch here, but it doesn't look like that'll end up being the case. So we might have to sneak a train in here or something. But for now, so what I'm going to do is I'm going to go off of a blueprint that I was making in our Twitch playthrough. So what I'm going to do is I'm actually going to branch off right here. I'm going to delete all these trees too, just to give us a little bit of a cleaner workspace, like so. That's going to be one side. 1, 2, 3, 4. This. Let's get rid of that. There we go. So we got our little entrance here to our steel base, whatever it's called. So I'm gonna go to the blueprints, and as always, I'm gonna explain exactly what this blueprint is doing. The top is gonna be right around here. I'm gonna turn off my bots too. There we go. Can delete this part of it. All right, so we've placed down a blueprint. All that's left to do now is to fill everything in, but you see here how wide this blueprint is. So we're going to be taking up this entire thing, and obviously we're going to have a couple trains here that are going to be transporting the steel plates. It is also important to note that this blueprint takes in iron ore and then produces steel plate. It doesn't take an iron plate to smelt steel plate, right? It's just iron ore. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to go ahead, build this entire thing out, and actually show you guys how it works, and then from there go through the design of the blueprint. It's a pretty intricate. I'm actually very proud of it. It's a design that I don't know if I took from someone. I might have taken it from someone, who knows. But I was very proud with this design, and I'll show you guys how I did it. So I will be back. All right, so we are back with our steel smelting, and you'll find here that it's a lot bigger size than our other one. I'll go through the the build, but let's just go just based off of the size from beacon to beacon. So if we copy that and then go to our map and go to this side, oh yeah, it's significantly longer. So essentially what we tried to do is we tried to mimic our the concept of direct insertion like we do here, right? So we got iron ore being smelted, and then directly from that smelter being inserted into the steel smelter. Now with production modules and beacons, I think what is the recipe? It's 5 iron plate, right? Yeah, 5 iron plate, 16 seconds of craft time, and then this is it's exactly like 5, right? The time it takes for 5 iron plates to be made is the exact same amount same amount of time it takes for 1 steel plate to be made. So it's essentially a one assembler or 1 smelter to 1 smelter ratio, right? However, using productivity modules and speed beacons is slightly different. So if we go to, I'm gonna show some stuff on the screen here. If we want 45 items per second of steel, which is a full blue belt, we need with production modules in all the smelters, as well as the 16 speed modules in a 8 beacon setup, we are at 64 steel smelters and 53.2 iron plate smelters. Now you might be asking, like, well, what happened to the 1-to-1 ratio of smelters? The reason is because we're making a lot more iron plate per like cycle than we are steel plate. So for example, like say if we have a 20% boost, 20% of 5 is 1, and 20% of 1 is 0.2, right? So you get a little bit better of a trade-off when you produce product more frequently. So we actually need less smelters producing iron plate. However, that's on a big scale thing. So for example, like we need 64 electric furnaces, and I have in one line, what's one line here? 32, and half of those are going to be producing iron plate. So in total, I actually have 16 electric furnaces making the steel plate. So if I quadruple this, then that would be a full line, right? But then I wanted to fit everything to in these like beacons here, right? I wanted to make sure that I was fitting everything together, and that we could actually like have an 8 beacon setup in a line compact. So what this actually does is, if we go to that, if you look at that 45 items per second on the belt, we need 3.5 full blue belts of iron ore per one belt of steel plate. So I rounded that up to 4, right? So we have like these 4 belts right here producing like 4 belts here, but these 4 belts is actually just 1 full blue belt of iron plate, or sorry, of steel plate, right? And how this build works is we get the iron ore coming in here, right? It first gets smelted into here, and we have the same mirrored on this side. It first gets smelted into here, then it outputs and then goes back in. There's no way to direct insert when you're doing this, you know, beacon setup. So it just goes out and then comes back in. You'll have like 1 or 2 steel plates here just as a dummy, you know, which isn't, it's not a huge deal, right? So then the 5 steel or iron plates get smelted here, they get directly inserted into here and then output onto the belt, and it's the same thing mirrored here, so that you see our iron ore is going along this line, and then our steel plate is going to go along this line, and then they output one on either end to keep it symmetrical, and then merge with the belt, and that's pretty much it'll end up filling up. And then 4 of these, like I said earlier, will make 1 full steel plate, just based off of those ratios. Now, the reason why I stayed 1-to-1, one, for simplicity, I don't mind having a little bit, some more smelters, or overdoing it on the smelters, as long as we're producing that 45 per second steel plate. I don't mind if I have a couple extra factories, because regardless, if you make 45 per second steel plate, you're still going to be consuming, you know, 3.5 full belts of iron ore, right? You can't go above that, right? Because you're capped at that 45 steel plate per second. So it doesn't, even if you had 150 smelters, as long as you have the 4 belts and only 1 output belt, you're still only gonna ever make 45 per second steel plate. So you can have as many as you want, as long as the throughput is capped. You'll produce what you need to produce. So if we actually go and change this view to 1 factory, you'll see that it produces 0.705 steel plate per second. But then you look at the factories or smelters for the amount of electric furnaces needed to produce, you know, 1 steel plate. We did our factories as 1. The amount of electric furnaces needed to smelt into 1 iron plate is 0.9, right? So obviously when you scale up, that 0.9 starts adding up and adding up and adding up. But when you're super local and it's just, you know, 2 assemblers or 2 smelters working together, it's essentially a 1-to-1 ratio, right? So that's why we want to keep it the 1-to-1 ratio, and then plus we get the beacons here as well. Now, there's a couple ways that I could alter this this blueprint. So for now, we got, you know, the coal, or not the coal, the iron ore. All the iron ore coming in, we'll have some slip lanes, and then they'll go in here. So 8 belts like this can produce 2 belts, only 2 full belts of steel plate, right? Now, this is going to be overkill for a lot of bases. You probably don't need this much steel plate. It's just, if you end up needing more later on, it's scalable, right? You can have a lot of stuff. Now what we could do is we could keep, you know, all of these outputs, or we can keep all of these, oh, excuse me, as I place some inserters. We can keep all of these lanes as separate, and then, yeah, it shows 8 belts, but in reality it's just it's 90 products per second. So what we could do is actually, you know, consolidate this. Maybe instead of 8 belts, this makes, you know, 4 half belts. We could do that. 4 half belts isn't an issue at all. I mean, it would just go something like this, right? And then what we could do is we could delete this part, this part. Actually, let's move this up real quick. Move this up to there so that we are able to turn in, yeah, like that. That works. So if we move this up, and each of these goes into one belt, so now we got, you know, half belts going out. We can do this. We can spread out our trains a little bit to make sure that we don't have, you know, that many steel trains. And I think I like this look a tad better anyways, if I'm being honest. Did I do that wrong? I feel like I did that wrong. We got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Oh yeah, I did do that wrong. Right here. This needs to be like that. So there we go. That's, what is that, 4 belts? Yeah, that's 4 full belts then. And what we could do is we could have 2 iron trains or iron ore trains going back to back. What we can do is then copy this right here. And that's why I love this model, is because it's so scalable. What we can do is just line up the power poles, boom, add another row. That way, we have a nice little slipstream here that we can continue. And watch this. We can grab all this stuff. Literally the exact same. And boom. We are set to go. Like that. And that's the ease of scalability, right? Like, that's all we had to do is add another iron ore train. And then what we can do is we can shift this station down and then have, you know, the eight belts joining here and just kind of mirror this, because it'd be kind of silly to have so many iron or steel plate trains when in reality, like, we don't need, or we can't have like that much. Or I mean, we can do it one more further to where we can actually load 8 belts. We can like double this again and then have 8 full belts, because right now, what, this is 2 belts, 2 full belts, 4 half belts, right? Yeah, 4 half belts. So 2 full belts. So this is going to be 4 full belts. So if we wanted to double this again, doubling it again would make the 8 full belts, and then that'd be one train. So why don't we do that? Why don't we do that? And then we'll have 4 iron ore stations per 1 steel plate stations. So yeah, I'm gonna do that. I mean, it's gonna be a lot of resources, but I think having 8 steel plate belts is gonna be overkill up the wazoo. And I think it'll be cool. It'll be a massive, you know, smelting base here, and then we can work on, you know, tapping all these iron ore patches pretty much at once and seeing how our trains like to prioritize. Because right now we got, you know, this one, as well as this one tapped. We don't have any of them down here tapped. So that'd be a cool project. So I'm gonna take another break. I'm actually gonna break this down one more time and have the 4 belts actually join in to produce the, you know, the 1 belt. And yeah, and then we'll have the full 8 belts going into 1 train. So I like that, you know, we took a little bit of our design from our stream game and we're altering it a little bit, making it a little bit more clean, and also making it more efficient, right? Because you don't want to have so many train stations when they're not going to be that filled up, you know? All right. So I will be back after this stuff has, or I'll be back when the stuff has been blueprinted. Maybe I won't activate the stations just yet, because this is going to be a lot of beacons that we don't have, and smelters, as well as the modules that we don't have. But what I'll do is I'll definitely lay out the belts so that everything fits together. And then, so let's actually do that now. You just gotta go in the map mode. Boom. Oh, and watch as the frame rates just tank. And then there we go. So that right there. Where's our Spidertron? Let's actually turn off our robots so that I can use the Spidertron to burn down these, or explode these trees and delete them. Come on, robots, come back in. Yeah, so now you see our map right here, and everything in purple. Like, this is this is 8 full belts right here of steel plate, which I think that's kind of cool. That's massive. So if that's 8 full belts, we can probably have 1, 2, maybe 3 full trains worth of steel, and that's overkill for any mega base. So that's why I like, you know, putting it in this big space, just so that, you know, it's expandable. If we do want to go to something crazy, you know, 10k science or something like that, like boom, we have the capability to expand. So like I said, I'm procrastinating, I'm delaying. I'll be back. I'll go ahead and reroute all these belt works, or reroute all the belt works, reroute all the belts, make sure that all works, and then I'll replace this station and move it down to be somewhere in the middle. And then yeah, that'll be it. All right, I'll be back. Okay, so we are all set. All of our smelters are down. We are missing a little bit of beacons, but I mean, beacons without the speed modules in it are useless anyways. So I figured, you know, it's been a little bit, taking some time to actually build this thing. But I mean, we're pretty much ready. Like, we got this thing set up to where, you know, each of these stations is requesting 14 trains. We got 56 total iron trains needed. It's a lot of iron ore that's needed here. Obviously, not all of it is going to be consumed, like, you know, straight up. Like, for example, the calculations that we used previously, like when everything is fully moduled and speed beacon and everything like that, it's only like 1 full belt of the steel plate is consuming 3.5 of the iron ore, so it's not even a full 4. But we got, you know, our 4 belts here combined into 1, so every 4 are combined into 1, and then they kind of overlap, and then, you know, the last one here is a little bit wonky just to fit it. And then all 8 full belts are going to go into that station there. So that's already called supply steel. What we need to do next is actually set our trains. So I do have the trains in my inventory, so we can go ahead and do that. And then we will open up the floodgates and connect the demand to the network, and then connect the rails as well. So let's go ahead and do that. So first thing we're going to do is put the 2 trains in, and 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Let's undo the NTT ghost, do trees and rocks, and just kind of clean that out real quick. All right, and then we're gonna copy the train. We're gonna shift and then release, and then we're gonna add the trains, and then just kind of copy and paste. There we go. All of those should be good to go. The one thing I don't like, though, I don't like this little blue thing that goes up when you copy and paste like trains. I don't like the blue thing, and it doesn't go away for some reason. I don't know how to fix it. So, all right, so we just deleted that. They can stay in manual mode because we don't have anywhere where our steel is really needed yet. I mean, we could switch this up, but I wanna wait to use these steel trains at our main bus until these patches here are completely gone. And then, you know, so that way we don't have to like daisy chain another train in here, because our main base, like, we got plenty of steel just from this little patch and these smelting columns for now, right? For now. So yeah, let's go ahead and actually start up our request. So let's go down. And yeah, you see here, damn, like, we got 56 trains that we're gonna need to come in here. Obviously, they won't be all at the same time because we don't have 56 things of ore. But that's now connected. Oh, do I not have... Oh, I don't have rails? Oh, that's a dummy move. Okay, I need to go get rails. All right, I got the rails. We're all good there. Last thing we need to do is hook up the demand. Boom. Okay. Now, if we look at here, look at our depot. Oh yeah, we're gonna start sending out a bunch of trains. These guys are gonna be good to go. This guy's next. And I love the nuclear fuel that just pumps them out. Nice, nice, nice. Perfect. And this guy can actually go to the demand right now since he's already full. Probably same thing with this guy too. Yeah, this guy can go to demand as well. So we can just send a few of these to demand. Just straight to demand, just because they're full from when they were, from when we had like that bug that was just sending like too many trains. Actually, let's send you to demand just so that we can send this one to demand. I don't think we have any more full trains either. Nope, we don't. Perfect. And then if we come to our map, oh, look at that. We got them all waiting in line, all unloading. Perfect, perfect, perfect. Awesome. I love seeing that. Is this thing calling, guys? Yes, it is. Okay. It's just, are they all labeled the same? Demand or iron? I think it's just because they're not like assigned to it. Whatever. But I mean, it's fine. Oh, wow, look at that. So we're already getting steel on either end. It's a little tough to see because it is dark. But like, obviously this is gonna, like, this belt here would be a full belt if everything was moduled correctly. We're lacking so many modules. But this is exciting. This is exciting. Like, we have, you know, a bunch of iron ore trains coming in. Oh, it's so nice. And this is working like a charm. You know, these guys are getting sent out. Awesome. And I think in the next episode, like, for example, here we got 7 trains of supply. Here we have no more trains of supply, so it's gonna have to close it. Oh no, we got 2. We got 2 trains of supply. I think in the next episode, we're gonna do a massive push to mine out, or to set up train stations for all these mines. You know, this iron mine, this copper mine, this iron mine, this iron mine, like all these iron mines. And I think that's going to be our next goal, is to set up all the mines that we can, even on the oil, because the next step is going to be to doing our mega base station for plastic. And plastic, we're going to be bringing in crude oil and fracking it on site. And then we're going to be bringing in coal. So we're going to need to start mining a lot more coal than we already are. I don't even think we have a station yet. Yeah, we don't even have a station. We just have this guy that's bringing in coal locally via belt. So we're going to need a lot of trains. I think I'm going to have a big hub station here for all coal, copper, as well as iron. I think I'll have all of that all in one spot, kind of branching off this area here. And then, you know, we got this coal mine, we got, you know, this oil mine, we got this coal mine. I'm gonna need to change this intersection here because it's a little bit too cluttered. I think I'm gonna come from the middle and then have the oil, you know, oil and coal pick up both around here. But yeah, I think we're in a really good spot. And in that next episode, like I said, we're gonna do all the mining, and then the one after that, we're gonna be doing all of the plastic. So look out for those episodes. If at time of recording, obviously they're not out, but if they are out, be sure to keep on going, click the playlist button, and keep following along. I think those episodes are going to be fantastic. If you enjoy the content, be sure to smash that like button, click the subscribe button as well if you haven't already, and that little notification bell down there at the bottom keeps you up to date with all new content coming to the channel. I really appreciate any and all feedback on all of these builds. I know some of them can be complicated. If you want me to go through them even more, I can. It's just when they're huge mega base builds like that, it is a lot easier to blueprint your designs and then kind of explain them after the fact, because there is a lot of bug testing and and maximizing output, you know, when designing those builds. If you'd like to see me design those builds, or, you know, or follow along in the inspiration of, you know, creating all of those, be sure to follow my Twitch channel. I do have a stream playthrough over there as well at twitch.tv/Bedivere. You can find all the links to all my socials, including Twitch, Twitter, and Instagram, in the description down below. But that's going to be it for me. So thank you so much again for joining me and clicking on that thumbnail. Stay safe, and I'll see you next time. Peace.